Hello everyone, my name is Christopher. In this video I would like to speak about every single rank in Overwatch and what I personally see when I look at your current rating. First of all, we start with a little disclaimer: don't bash yourself if you feel like you are not good enough, especially if you compare yourself with streamers, if you compare yourself with your friends that are significantly higher rank than you, because you never know what kind of hell on earth they had to go through to achieve that, and certainly you don't wanna repeat their path. Majority of so-called successful people on this earth, whether it's gonna be business, sports, or video games, are truly miserable, lonely, overworked, and mentally hurt people deep down inside. Video games were created to connect people together so people can have fun, they can communicate, they can try out new interesting things and talk about life. And if you take Overwatch as an example, the higher you climb, less people you will be able to play with, less variety when it comes to the playstyles you can try, less variety of the characters that you can try, and every single mistake that you would do would hit your fragile ego harder than the last time, because frankly speaking, you have connected it with your performance in game, and ultimately speaking, it would make you feel like you are worthless and don't deserve to be at this rank. This is called an imposter syndrome at its finest, and pair that up with keeping up with Jones, as well as elevated levels of stress within your mind, within your body, and you have a perfect starting ground for depression, anxiety, and burning out early on. So again, if you are stuck on a certain rank, the worst thing you can do is like really want to rank up. That is the worst thing you can do, right? So let's go on with the video. The bronze is gonna be our first rank for today's list, and if you are just starting playing Overwatch, of course bronze is a very nice place to start with. No one has any clue what the hell is going on in the game. You have no idea what characters are there in the game, and some of them are locked from you, and you are trying out stuff. Maybe you want to go for a hit scan because it seems very easy, and then you play this character called Tracer and you're like, whoa, blinking around, recalling. You have no idea what characters are called, and if you're playing with friends, you are just purely having fun. Oh, Reinhardt hits the shatter on 4 of you. Nice. This is very funny, and after you die, you can try out some stuff, you can try out some strategies, and honestly, bronze has to be one of the fun, like one of the best times that you can have in Overwatch, because higher you climb, again, the more of the stuff I told you would hit you. If you are hard stuck bronze, you are just fundamentally don't understand mechanical part of the game, or your aim is terrible. You are probably not as experienced in FPS games, and you don't take the game too seriously, and that's not a problem. Absolutely not a problem, because again, your main goal in game is to have fun, not to rank up and see interesting pictures like, oh, I hit Diamond, I hit Grandmaster. Congratulations, no one cares. Let's move on. Alright, 50 hours in the game and you finally climbed out of bronze. You are swagging on all those noobs that are still there. You are feeling great. Finally, you start remembering certain characters. There is like this soldier guy, and then the enemy tank is called Reinhardt because everyone is playing them for some reason. And then some supports are doing stuff. You still have no freaking clue what each and every ability is doing. Again, if you are just starting out as a beginner, you still don't have enough FPS experience to really hard carry your games with your aim, as well as your mechanical understanding of the game is very narrow, and you don't quite understand what are the win conditions, what do you even have to do. Some game modes feel very strange. You need to like push the robot, and then on like map like Suravasa you need to run points, and you're like, what the hell, where do I run now? We just capped and they capped, and like, oh my god. You've tried out certain characters, and then you finally realize that you like certain characters more than others, and there is a direct correlation with your psychological state and the character that you choose. I was speaking about this in my previous video, so if you're interested, check it out. If you are hard stuck silver, again, your aim is probably terrible, you still have no idea what are your win conditions are, and thus this is just gonna be a casino royale, whether you will have good teammates and then they will carry, or you will carry, or you're gonna have bad teammates and you will lose, or they will lose. Gold is a very interesting rank. Again, if you are starting out, it's probably gonna take you around like 70 to 100 hours, realistically speaking. For some people it's gonna be a lot more, for some people it's gonna be a lot less. You finally remember pretty much every single character in the game. But if I were to ask you to name all of them by memory without looking at the names, you would fail miserably. Sometimes certain characters will still trick you, like for example, how does the brig abilities work? How, like, and some things are still very strange and your perception of abilities are very wrong. When I was gold, I thought that Lucio aura works completely different from what it typically is. And then you are trying some certain strategies that are not quite working. Maybe you're trying to play Widowmaker up close, like with an SMG. Maybe you never knew that you can actually hold the gun, hold the left mouse button and actually spray with her, right? And again, if you're hard stuck gold, same problem right here. You understand how to win, you understand, like, fundamentally, of course you don't, but like, oh, you just need to kill everyone, right? And then your point presence is kind of meh, your timings are terrible, and your aim is still bad, and it takes time. It really takes time. Overwatch has to be one of the most complex FPS games on the market right now. Platinum rank. I feel like majority of the player base are just stuck Plat, and that's completely fine. That is absolutely okay. The difference between gold players and Plat players that are going from 0 to hero, from bronze to like Grandmaster eventually, is, again, they have better aim, and it feels like that's it. You still have this deathmatch free-for-all kind of scenario where everyone is running around, everyone have zero clue what's happening on the map, and they were just, we're just gonna go and destroy everyone. You still have no idea how to group up, you still have no idea how to communicate with your teammates, and this is just a disaster and a half. You have to understand that when you are Plat, your brain is just so fried up focusing on your own character that you never think as like a organism, like 5 players that are working together. So you look at, if you would compare like Overwatch team with your hand, you are a finger, and you are so focused on a finger that you have no idea what other 4 fingers are doing. And obviously, if you try to pick up an object like this, you will fail miserably. And this is why Plat players have problems with like regrouping, they have problems with ultimate usage, they have problems with win conditions. And again, this is all very interesting because you are pretty much having casino royale. Nothing is predictable, nothing is obvious, because on like Grandmaster level, especially high Grandmaster level, like people expect certain points of power. With Plat, you're like, oh my god, I just pressed the button, what happened? Jesus Christ, help me. And then we are going for Diamond. Diamond is very interesting, and I feel like certain people who got lucky in Plat can move to Diamond, and then certain people who got completely unlucky can drop down from Masters to diamond, so it's like a middle ground. You have decent aim. I'm not saying like world class, I'm saying decent. Like you're doing fine, you're doing okay. You understand what every single character is doing. There is not a surprise when you see a Lucio against you and you're like, what the hell is that alien frog doing for the enemies? He's got like this circle, is it gonna burn me to death? Should I be scared of him? Of course, you don't have that anymore, but in reality, now you finally start understanding what kind of absolutely horrible game you got yourself into, because, you know, Diamond is like kind of mid if you would compare it with Masters and then Grandmaster and Top 500, and you really want to improve. But there should be incredible walls and obstacles on your way. First of all, you need to have exceptional aim if you are playing on a DPS or a support. Supports are pretty much DPS when it comes to Overwatch, right? If you are in Diamond and playing tank, Jesus Christ, the most miserable time you could possibly have. I feel like Diamond has to be one of the most toxic ranks, especially in EU, because again, you are somewhere in the middle. You understand that you are not a noob anymore, but at the same time, the road to success, so-called success, is so far away from you that it is just crazy. Your ego starts hurting so bad from every single mistake, and you feel the burn. You feel the burn at the bottom of your heart. Definitely. When it comes to Masters, this is incredibly interesting because it's actually admirable if you could get Masters in your first 500 hours of gameplay, especially high Masters, because people there are trying hard. Not only that, but every third or second game you will experience a phenomenon called smurfing. A dude with 80 hours that has 90% win rate on every single character he has on his open profile is gonna be against you, and yeah, absolutely fun times. There will be duos of e-girls and e-boys that are just dating for fun. There are gonna be guys who have 7 years of Overwatch experience, but for some reason they are not playing on their account or they dropped so hard, and the rank inflation is just quite drastic and incredible. Like, Overwatch 1 Masters is so much better than Overwatch 2 Masters. It's actually crazy. And then your aim is really good now. Like if you compare Diamond, like high Diamond and high Masters, Jesus Christ, the aim difference is crazy. Of course, you start understanding fundamentally the flow of the game. You can feel the enemy ultimates. You can kind of predict the enemy play styles and their positions on certain maps just by looking at their roster, just by looking at tab. You can understand what ultimates do they have, what kind of cooldowns they already used, and you kind of realize when you need to go forward and when you need to disengage. You understand how to regroup, and maybe you are going for some synergies. You are not playing Roadhog on verticality maps, for example, or you stopped taking a Life Weaver and instead switched to Illari, because you understand that you don't want to press this casino button every single time and want to actually rule the game on your own. But again, Masters is a very steep road, you can easily drop out of it, and Grandmaster is further away than ever. And you have a Grandmaster rank, and this is painful, trust me. You have low Grandmaster and then you have high Grandmaster. Pretty much low Grandmaster is anywhere from GM5 to GM3, and really good players consider this very noob kind of playground, because like people are terrible. Like GM5 Overwatch 2 is Diamond Overwatch 1, and of course people who've spent 7 years like playing this game and improving and like woo, they see a guy with 1000 hours in Grandmaster and like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a terrible game. This guy is just terrible in comparison with me. And this is absolutely correct. of course, you have improved your aim, probably you got coached by someone in the process, maybe you've aim trained, maybe you've watched a lot of VODs, maybe you've watched a lot of this and that. Outside of that, you cannot play with your friends in the 5-stack anymore, and you are forced to play meta characters, because if you are not playing meta characters, the meta characters are gonna be played against you. And this is truly miserable for everyone that thinks that, oh, I just need to hit Grandmaster and my life is gonna improve and my experience in Overwatch is gonna improve. No, it's gonna get worse, trust me, especially if you will be hard stuck Grandmaster, or if you would be lucky and hit Grandmaster to just drop down to Diamond back at it. I've seen this, trust me, you don't wanna be that guy. And then GM1 players, they are deeply hurt, like, I don't know, playing Overwatch for more than 1,000 hours seems like a hassle. Playing Overwatch seriously is absolutely a joke. You don't receive anything in return, only pain, misery, suffering, and despair. I feel very sorry for all my fellow Grandmaster players. Anyways, that was it for today's silly video. Let me know in the comment section what do you think. See you in the next one. Take care.